beginning our yoga session today, seated comfortably on the mat. Nice alert posture, but either looking downwards or eyes closed, just to bring the attention inwards and towards the breath. Yoga always starts and ends with the breath. It's really important just to focus there for the time being. And as we draw the attention inwards, we can start doing a quick body scan to make sure there's no areas that feel stiff and sore, but if there are, just make intention to be a little bit careful with those today. Bringing the attention all the way inwards inside your body, connecting to it, breathing deeply, starting to lengthen the breath, thinking about moving with intention. So straighten the spine, and we're going to start drawing big circles with the navel. Inhale to the front, and then circle towards the back, exhaling. Inhaling, drawing it all the way to the front. So make sure this circle is nice and big. It's going to feel a little bit strange at first. What you need to do is to make sure that you're activating all of the musculature through the core in turn. Inhaling towards the front and exhaling, taking it all the way to the back. Keeping the intention just to move mindfully and with the breath. We're starting to wake up all the muscles in turn. And let's take it in the other direction. Inhaling to the front. Exhaling, rounding out the spine to the back, really curling, drawing the navel in. And then drawing forward across the knee, right to the front. Exhaling, across the knee, right to the back. Last one. Connect with those muscles. Breathe long. And then we're going to bring it all the way back to the center, sitting tall. Inhale, taking the arms up and overhead. Exhaling, bring the hands to the heart center and release. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling, release. So stretch up, reach up right from the base of the spine through the fingertips. Look up to the sky. Exhale, let the shoulders relax. All the way up, reach up, stretch up. And exhale, bring it back down. Last one. And release it down to the side. So we're going to do a lateral flex. So stretch down the sides of the body, take the arm all the way over. Look up over at that hand. You want to keep nice and upright. So inhale as the hand comes up, stretches over, and exhale, release. Inhale, take it all the way, lengthening down the sides of the body. Try not to collapse through the spine. Inhaling long. Exhaling long. Deep breaths. So these mobilization sections, really important. So hands, fingertips on top of the shoulders, just drawing big circles with the elbows. Make sure you're making that a nice big movement so you can slouch into it. Then lifting the collarbones, exhaling down, inhaling all the way up. Initiating the movement right inside the shoulder joint. Just getting that shoulder joint fluid, a little bit less viscous. And release. Hands are coming underneath the armpits on the rib cage. And we're doing a thoracic rotation. So inhale to one side and exhale to the other at your own pace. This movement's not going to be very big. The ribs are attached to the thoracic spine, so you don't get much movement, but we're just going to mobilize it a little bit. We are going to do some rotations later on in the session. So just concentrate on taking it as far as you can. Inhaling and exhaling just at your own pace. Attention is always on the breath. Take the gaze from one side to the other. Breathing deep. And if it feels a little bit crunchy and there's a crack or two as you rotate, that's fine. Don't worry about it. And bringing this section to an end. Hands and knees. Fingers are spread. Looking up and inhaling. Rounding out and exhaling. So look up, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round out. Look at that belly button. Inhale, drop the spine, lift the tailbone, and then really round out, draw the tummy in and back. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace, just warming through the spine, lifting up and back into downward facing dog. So adjust your feet so they're hip width apart. This is an inverted V position. Most people are going to be about 1 meter to 1.5 meters between the hands and the feet. Fingers are spread, middle fingers are pointing forwards. Make sure that the sit bones are lifted to the sky, that we're lengthening down the hamstrings and down the sides of the body, opening the shoulders with nice strong straight arms and nice straight legs. Put a little bit of tension through the quad. We want power in there just to protect the knees from hyperextending. Roll forward, inhale, look, walk in, flat hands, flat feet, bent knees. So grab hold of your elbows, loosen off the head, just get a little bit of side to side motion, ragdoll pose. Inhaling and exhaling just to loosen off before we go into our warming sequence, then inhaling, rolling up through the spine. Bring the hands all the way overhead, stretch out, and then bringing them down to your sides. Find your mountain posture, feet are together, toes are touching, feet parallel, strong through the quad, all those vertebrae stacked on top of each other, shoulder blades rolled back and down, tuck the chin. Strong through the quad, making sure your attention is on the breath. Going into sun salutation A, reach up, palms together, look at those thumbs, and then going into a forward fold, exhaling nice and long, fingertips in line, releasing the head and the neck. Inhale, look forward, inflate the lungs, flatten out the spine, and exhale, hands down, step back, lower through your tricep dip to the mat and release the feet. Inhale, strong arms, draw the shoulder blades back and down, look up. Exhale, tuck the toes underneath, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Strong posture. Inhale, look forward, step 1 and 2, feet together, draw the heart forward. Exhale, all the way down into the fold. We're going to do 5 of these as a warming sequence. Inhale, lift the heart center, stretch from the base of the spine, palms together, look at the thumbs. Exhale, back down into mountain. Check your posture, feet together. Make sure that we're reaching up from the base of the spine as we inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Strong legs, strong quads. Relax the upper body. Inhale, look forward and draw the heart forward. Exhale, step back, lower through your tricep dip all the way to the mat. Inhale, roll up and forward, look up, strong arms. Exhale, tuck the feet underneath. Take it all the way back to downward facing dog. Strong legs, lengthening. Inhale, step in 1 and 2, draw the heart forward, stretch forward before you go down into your exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising up. This is the beginning of our mountain. Strengthen the quad, strengthen and lift out of the pelvis, and as you bring the hands down, you're going to roll the shoulder blades back and down, tuck the chin slightly. Next one. Inhale, look at the thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. Releasing the head and the neck, strong legs, fingertips in line. Inhale to draw the heart forward. Exhale, hands down, step back. Lower through your tricep dip all the way to the mat. Inhale, push up, look up, shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale, tuck the feet, lift the hips up and back, lengthening down the hamstrings, heels targeting the floor. Inhale, look forward. Step 1 and 2. Keep looking forward right till we go into the exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hold your feet together, strong quads, stretch out of the pelvis, look at the thumbs. Exhale, hands down. You should slot straight into mountain pose, shoulder blades rolled back and down. Inhale, look at your thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. Get those fingertips in line with the toes, upper body is loose, legs are strong. Inhale, flatten the spine, inflate the lungs. Exhale, flat hand, step back, low through your tricep dip to the mat, and then inhale, roll up and forward, looking up, strong arms. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift up all the way back, draw the heart towards the thighs, look at the knees. Inhale, step 1 and 2, just keep looking forwards, flat spine. Exhale, all the way down into the fold. Inhale, stretch up, strong quad, lift out the pelvis, look up. Exhale down into mountain pose. Slot straight in, shoulder blades down, strong quads. Inhale, look up, reach up, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold. Keep those legs strong as you release the upper body, fingertips in line with the toes. Inhale, flat spine, look forward. Exhale, step back, flat hand. Inhale, upward facing dog, strong arms, look up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the sit bones to the sky. Just your feet if you have to. Open the shoulder. Inhale, look forward. Step in 1 and 2 feet together. Draw the heart forward. Exhale down into the fold as deeply as we can. Inhale, strengthen the legs. Lift out the pelvis. Look up at those thumbs. Exhale down to mountain pose. Adjust your posture. Moving into sun salutation B. Taking it up a notch. Make sure you're at the front of the mat, feet are together, parallel, toes touching. Roll the shoulder blades back and down, strong quad. Inhale, arms all the way up overhead, lift. Exhale, forward fold, fingertips in line. Inhale, draw the heart forward and flatten the spine, inflate the lungs. Exhale, hands down, jump back. Come to low plank and hover. Inhale, roll over the toes up into upward facing dog, strong arms, and exhale, roll over back to downward facing dog. Lengthen and stretch. Inhale, right foot forward, drop the left heel, palms together all the way up, look up, stretch up, sink into the hip. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank and lower to low plank and hover. Inhale to upward facing dog and exhale to downward facing dog. Left foot forward, drop the right heel down, palms all the way up, sink into the hip, look at those thumbs, exhale, hands down nice and flat, step back, lower to low plank and hover, inhale to upward facing dog, exhale all the way back to downward facing dog. Adjust your feet, hip width, fingers are spread. We're strong through the quad, we're lengthening down the sides of the body. We're taking 5 breaths here, just as recovery, but also to strengthen the posture. We're trying to open the shoulder, so draw that chest all the way back to the thighs. Strong. This is our practice for any of our inversions, any of our arm balances. So make sure lifting the sit bones to the sky, breathing long in and out through the nose. You're going to hear the breath in the back of the throat. We go into the last breath. Inhale, look forward, jump in, feet together, draw the heart forward, strong. Exhale down into the fold. Inhale, rise up, lift the heart center, look at those thumbs. Exhale to mountain pose. Make sure shoulder blades are back and down before we lift. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips in line, legs strong. Inhale, draw the heart forward. Exhale, jump back. Lower down and hover. Inhale to upward facing dog, feeling that extension in the spine. Exhale, roll over the feet to downward facing dog. Strong quads, lengthening down the sides of the body. Right foot forward with the inhale, drop the left heel, palms together. Sink into the hip. Exhale, hands down, step back. Low through the tricep dip to a hover. Be strong here. Inhale to upward facing dog, looking up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, drop the right heel. Palms together, but sink into the hip, keep that knee over the ankle. Hands down, step back to plank, lower to low plank and hover. Inhale to upward facing dog, spinal flexion. Exhale to downward facing dog. Taking 5 breaths here. Adjust your feet if you have to. Making sure that we're long down the hamstrings, heels are targeting the floor. If yours don't quite reach, that's okay. Lifting the sit bones to the sky, opening the shoulder. Look at those knees and draw the belly up and backwards. Drawing in between the perineum, making sure we're tight through the midsection, strong arms, fingertips are still spread. Nice long breaths. Look forward, jump in, feet together. Fingertips in line, draw the heart forward. Exhale, keep strong leg but a loose upper body before we squeeze the hamstrings, bring the palms up. Exhale back to mountain, slot into that mountain pose, be strong. All the way overhead and exhale, forward fold. Fingertips in line. Strong lower body, loose upper body. Inhale, flat spine. Exhale, jump back. Low plank, hover. Inhale, roll up and forward over the toes, look up, upward facing dog, then rolling back to downward facing dog. Going back to warrior one, right foot forward, drop the left heel, palms together, sink into the hip, exhale, hands down. Going back to that hover position, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, drop the right heel. Keep that knee over the ankle as we go into warrior one. Exhale, hands down. Coming to low plank, hover, inhale. Feel that final spinal flexion. Good. Long exhale as we come here. Nice and long. Thinking about strength through every part of the body. Feel all four corners of the feet trying to target down into the earth. Even if the heels aren't reaching, just adjust slightly. So we're long hamstrings. Strengthen the quad, lifting the sit bones to the sky. Then look forward, rise up onto the toes, flex the knee, jump in. Flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, squeeze the hamstrings and the glutes. Good, long posture, hands down, find mountain. Give yourself a second. So starting from mountain pose, shoulders drawn back, we're going to roll down nice and easily through the spine, taking the fingertips as far in line with the toes as we can, stretching down the hamstrings. Then we want to step all the way back and drop the left knee. Get the foot flat on the mat. Settle yourself into the posture and open the hip, and then looking up towards that top hand as you rotate towards the knee. Replace the hand down, settle yourself down. Tuck the foot under and straighten that back leg, reaching up. So back leg is strong and straight and true, and then we're opening the shoulders and the chest, looking up, sinking into the hip, strong leg. Bring the hands to the heart center. Take the opposite elbow, nice big twist. Lift the top elbow towards the sky and look up. Back leg staying strong, and to come out, we look down, hands down, step back to downward facing dog. Hip bones lifting to the sky. Then roll through the spine, drop down into plank. Make sure your body is all in one line. Look forward, straight and strong and two. Taking 3 breaths here before we lower down to low plank. Hover before we roll forward and up, upward facing dog, and all the way back over, downward facing dog. Step forward with the left foot, drop the right knee, unloosen the back foot. Then we're going to go up into a rotation through the lumbar spine. Look up at that top hand, rotate. Hands down flat, tuck the foot. Back leg is strong and straight. Open the shoulders, bring the elbows behind. Sink into the hip, keeping that back leg strong and straight. Open that hip joint. Hands back to the heart center. Going into your twist, opposite elbow outside of the thigh. Top elbow upwards towards the sky, looking up, keeping the back leg strong, straight. To come out, look down, hands down, nice and flat. Step all the way back to downward facing dog. Lengthen the hamstrings, draw the chest towards the thighs. Open the shoulder. Roll through the spine one more time, dropping down into plank. Nice straight body. Look forward. Keep everything tucked up and tight before we lower down. Rise up into upward facing dog. Rolling it back over and back into downward facing dog. Lengthening down the hamstrings. Keeping the sit bones to the sky. Drawing the chest towards the thighs, looking at those knees. Step lightly forward with both feet. Draw the heart forward with a flat spine. And then we're rising all the way up, palms together. Look up at those thumbs. Sit down into chair pose. We're looking at the hands, weight back on the heels, knees together, feet together. Nice and strong and straight. Nice solid posture. Keep breathing, connect to the breath, connect to the movement. Looking at the hands, staying strong. Bring the hands back to the heart center. We're going to take a twist here. So bring the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh, top elbow facing the sky, and look up. Stay sitting down, weight evenly between the front and the back of the foot. Out of the twist, back into chair pose. Look up at the hands, that's your gaze point. Taking the twist to the other side. Right elbow to the left thigh, sit into it. Lift the elbow to the sky, look up. Knees together. Back to chair. Stay seated before we go into the forward fold. Release the head and the neck. Step back, all the way, find plank. Solid, straight, look forward. Back to downward facing dog. Lengthen. Make sure there's strength in this posture. Roll forward, drop down into plank. Strong and straight. A lot of core work here, so keep solid and keep connected to the breath. Inhale as we rise up onto the toes, rolling through the spine, dropping down into plank. Good. Exhale, hold. Inhale back. Exhale, hold. Inhale, roll through. Make sure that we're going nice and solid here, that knees are spread. Then coming all the way back into extended child's pose just as a rest and to drop out of the lumbar spine any tension that might be there. Take a few breaths here. So we rise up, tuck the feet underneath, all the way back to downward facing dog. Remember, this is a strong posture. Lift the quads, heels targeting the floor. Now bring the feet together a little bit. Strong hands, then lifting the left leg all the way up as we inhale. Exhale, bring the knee forward, exhale. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, draw that knee forward, engage the abs, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen right through the toes, long body. Exhale, bring it forward. So this is kind of a half plank. It's a three-legged dog motion, bringing it all the way through to squeeze through the core, supporting through the hands, so make sure the fingers are spread. And this last time we're going to draw the knee forward and drop it between the hands. So the foot's coming slightly out to the side, back foot is released. Settle into it, keeping the quad in contact. Don't roll off the side of this posture. Fingertips are just on the floor. Relax the upper body and use the weight to bring you down into it. You can walk the foot slightly forward if you want to open the hip that little bit more, aiming towards 90 degrees at the angle in the longer term. But just take a few breaths. If you've got it, start walking the hands forward, so you're leaning down onto the elbows, clasping the hands together and just relaxing the head and the neck. You're trying to use the weight of the body to sink down into that hip, just loosening off that joint. So breathe in and out through the nose, just keeping the attention inside of yourself, trying just to let go of anything that you're fighting inside the body, using the weight of your body. So walking back up onto the hands, the way we come out of this is we just settle into the hip to start with. Take a flat hand, tuck the back toe underneath, inhale all the way up and back to downward facing dog. So lengthen, be strong in the arms and the legs, and then we're taking the right leg up nice and straight, drawing the knee forward with the exhale. So we're lengthening, and then on the exhale, really squeezing into the abs into a half plank. Keep strong through the shoulder, don't collapse through there. So rising up out of the shoulder joint, drawing the knee forward, taking it towards the nose as far forward as you can. So it's an inhale, exhale pattern. Trying to keep strong and long as you move through each section. And then this time we're taking the knee forward between the hands, releasing the back toe. So just rise up onto the fingertips, so all the weight is going through that hip joint. Bring the knee forward, bring the foot forward if you can. So settle into it, allow the weight to drag you down. And if you've got it, you can start to walk the hands forward, coming down onto the elbows, grasping the hands together, just releasing the head and the neck. Take the breaths nice and long in and out through the nose, into a count of 4 and out to a count of 4 whenever we're holding these postures. So if you're practicing on your own, you can hold this for a little bit longer. You can hold this for up to 20 breaths. We're just going to take one more. And then as we start to reverse out, lift the head, look forward, walk the hands back in. So just come to fingertips so the weight transfers. And then we put the flat hands down, spread the fingers, tuck the back toe underneath. And then we're going to inhale all the way back and up to downward facing dog. Take the feet hip width apart once more. So let's just loosen off a little bit where we've been sitting on those leg joints. So rise up onto the toes with the inhale, and then start just to bend each knee at a time, paddling the feet, paddling the hips and the knees and the ankle joints, dropping the ankle towards the mat, bending each knee in turn. So look at your hands, just keep stable, and then back to downward facing dog. Find it solid. Then the right knee comes up, right knee flexes. We bring it forward into the outside of that right hand. So the foot is flat on the floor. The left leg is nice and straight and strong, dropping the heel towards the back. up onto your fingertips. So again, we're using the weight of the body really to drag us down into this hip opening posture. This is half lizard. Take your breaths nice and long through the nose again. We're just going to do about 5 breaths here, into a count of 4 and out to a count of 4. Practicing on your own, you can do up to 20 breaths if your hips are tight. And to come out, nice flat hands, step all the way up and back, right the way to downward facing dog. Strengthen up the legs and the arms, draw that chest forward. Then left leg goes up, flex the knee, flex the ankle, lightly drawing that left leg forward to the outside of the left hand. So straighten up that right leg, drop the heel down, look forward onto the fingertips and settling down into that hip joint, trying to get it open. So all the weight is through the midsection of the body. Center of gravity is right through that hip joint. We're not weighting onto those fingertips at all. Look slightly forward, keeping the neck long. Tuck the tummy in, keep it tight. And then coming out of it, flat hand, step all the way back, downward facing dog. Paddle those legs just once more, just to release the hips. Walk your hands in a little bit. Lengthen, step forward 1 and 2. So your feet are right at the outside edges of the mat. We're going to sit all the way down and back onto the heels. The elbows are inside those knee joints. Put the palms together, press them together just to open the knee joint. This is just a nice preparatory practice, this deep squat. Hands in prayer position, looking forward. Sit the bum down, try and keep the lumbar spine flat. So we're going to go and prepare ourselves for crow pose, which is a little bit of an arm balance. So last breath, and then we're going to take the hands out right the way in front of us. They're about shoulder width apart, fingers are spread, nice and flat. And as we start to rise up onto the toes and take the weight forwards, we flex the elbows just slightly. The knees are coming up onto the outside of the triceps. So just lift one foot and then the other foot, alternating. Look forward and engage the core, nice and strong. Just as lifting one foot at a time. So we're creating strength through the wrist, the shoulder girdle, and strong core. Sit back down into it, open the hip joint. Sit into your squat with the weight on the heels. Take a few breaths. So lift the chest and look forward. Last breath. So we're going to come out of this nice and slowly, rolling backwards. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, just drop your bum onto the mat, roll forward, tuck the knees all the way into the chest. Exhale hard, just a little spinal rock from side to side to release the lumbar spine. Come to a seated position. From here, we're going to sit up nice and tall, leaning back, so chest is lifted. Raise the feet, extend the hands. So keep the pelvic floor lifted, tummy tucked in, looking at your feet, looking at your toes. They're staying about hip distance apart, trying to keep the chest lifted. So this is boat pose. I'm just going to hold this for 5 breaths before tucking the ankles in towards the glutes. Roll back and down. Your fingertips should touch your heels. And then inhale, take it all the way up. Clasp the hands, bring them underneath the glutes. So you're looking at your belly button, so the back of the neck is nice and long. Pressing through the heels. Don't let those knees draw out or inwards. You want to keep the knees over the ankle joints, just pressing through the heels, squeezing the glutes. There's a slight back extension on this, so you'll feel it roll down nice and carefully, and then coming back up to a seated position. Straighten the back, look up, lift the feet, back to boat pose, trying to keep the chest lifted. So keep that tummy tucked in. Again, the knees are about hip width apart, feet stay up in line with the knee joints. Hands loose. If you start to burn out, you can take the hands and support the legs behind the thighs, but try to keep it here. Just going to do 3 of these combinations. So 5 breaths, all the way nice and long in and out through the nose. Keeping supported, and then as we come down, tuck the heels really close to the glutes. Fingertips are touching the heels. Inhale all the way up to bridge pose. Clasp the hands, keep the knees over the ankles. Breathe long. You'll hear the breath in the back of the throat. 5 breaths here. Squeeze the glutes together. Get that spinal extension, lifting the hip as high as you possibly can. breathing long, and then rolling back down. Coming back up to a seated position, lengthening the spine and lifting the chest back to boat pose, lifting the feet, releasing the hands, looking forward, lifting the chest. So this is an isometric hold for all those muscles in the core, the stabilizers. It's really important that you breathe. So keep the breath long, in and out through the nose. If you can, to a count of 4. Just try to keep solid. Don't let it collapse. Just keep it in. Then back to bridge. Tuck the feet in. Make sure the fingertips are in line before you lift the hips. Clasp the hands underneath. Look at the chest. So try and lengthen the breath, even though it's constricted in the throat. Squeezing the glutes together and lifting the hips as high as we possibly can. So all the weight is through the heels. Try not to let the knees splay outwards. Don't want to keep tracking over the ankle joints. Roll back down through the spine, just lowering down. Bring the knees into the chest. Touch the toes. So long hamstrings, and we're going to try and do a nice controlled lift. So come all the way back to a seated position, grab hold of those toes, lifting them high. So this is an extended boat pose. Keep the feet together for the time being until we get to that posture. Lift the chest, look at your toes if you can. We're all the way on the tailbone. Strong legs. You can keep your toes pointed, you don't have to flex the feet. But you're trying to keep everything lifted, keep perfectly still. If you've got it, we're going to take the legs out to the side. This is a really difficult one, so if you haven't got it, don't worry too much about it. We're just going to stay here for 5 breaths. So keep breathing with the chest up, fingers touched, and then we're going to come back, soles of the feet together, drawing forward and down towards the feet. Nice strong exhale. Just relax the head. Allow the lumbar spine to release into this posture. Sitting up, rolling back nice and slowly, controlling it all the way. Hands are forward. Use the abs. Bring it all the way back. Bring the hands to heart center. Allow your shoulder blades to settle into the mat. Feel the weight of your body. And then bringing both feet over the hips, touching your toes, lengthening. The lower back is nice and flat, pushed into the mat. Put the hands flat down beside you. You're going to drop the right leg down, just as far as you can. Don't worry about taking it too low. You're just going to hold those both static. Ankle is flexed. Take nice long breaths in and out through the nose. And feel that isometric contraction all the way through your midsection. Lower back is keeping pushed hard into the mat. Inhale and bring the foot back up. Exhale, take the left one down. So that's going to hold there for nice long 3 breaths. Keeping the lower back pushed all the way into the mat. Breathe. Inhale back up. Bring both knees in. What you're doing here is just making sure the lower back stays in contact with the mat. So lengthen, then do another one. So touch your toes to start with. Hands flat either side of you. Drop the right leg down and just hold there for 3 long breaths. So keep that anterior motion with the pelvis so the lower back stays low. You should feel a little bit of shivering and shaking as you get towards the end of the 3rd breath. So inhale the foot up, exhale left foot down. So keep the ankles flexed. So your knees don't have to be locked out. You can keep a little bit of bend in them. Don't worry too much about that. It's all about the hold. So as you get to the last breath, inhale the left foot up, bring the knees in towards you. Push the lower back into the floor. Rock side to side just slightly if you have to. Last one. Bring the toes up. So lengthen down the back of the hamstrings. Then again, taking that right foot down just slightly. Bring it as low as you need to where you can hold it for 3 long breaths. Breathe in and out through the nose, keeping the lower back pushed down. So you can press your palms into the floor if you feel it lifting up. Last breath. Inhale that right foot all the way up to meet the left and exhale the left foot down. So if that lower back starts to lift up, really think about lifting the tailbone, keeping the shoulders pushed into the mat, rounding out, pushing those palms down, making sure squeezing through the midsection, engaging the full length of the rectus abdominis. Inhale it back up, then taking the knees down into the chest, just rock side to side, just to release the lower spine. A couple of deep breaths. Let that release. Coming back to a seated position. Take the legs out in front of you. Sit nice and tall with the hands either side of your seat. Lean back. Take the hands out to side, palms down, knees over the hips. I'm going to take those knees all the way over to your right side. Look over to your left hand. So that left shoulder is going to try and pick up off the mat. Use the weight of your body just to take it down. So this is bringing into the lumbar spine, but also into that left shoulder. So your feet are in line with the knee joint, and the knee joint is in line with the hip joint. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, take them down to that left hand side, looking over towards the right hand. If that right shoulder picks up off the mat, don't worry too much. Just make sure the knees are in line with the hip joints. Breathing nice and long, allowing the weight of the body to take you into this pose. And inhale the knees back to the center. Feet flat, extend them all the way out. Take the hands just a little bit away from the body, palms upwards. So coming to the end of our session, we're going to take our feet just about the hip width of the mat and let the feet flop out quite naturally. Palms are facing upwards, eyes are closed, and we're going to bring the attention to the breath. So Shavasana, or corpse pose, is probably the most important part. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the attention all the way inside to the breath and just take a little bit of time for the brain to balance itself, for the body to equalize and all the tension drain out into the mat. So give yourself 2 to 3 minutes in this pose, just focusing on the breath, doing nothing else, imagining the breath moving into every part of your body in turn, bringing it relaxation. And then when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and bring the session to a close.